Actually, a 1:30 coffee, I'm going to say, is a little bit late. I'm surprised.
Really? I'm
What would
always
be
having
your-
coffee in the afternoon.
What would be your threshold?
I literally don't have one.
Oh, so you could go like 4 or 5 p.m.
Whenever I see my parents, we have coffee after dinner.
Okay.
I'm coffee all day kind of person.
There you go.
And come at me for it. I completely recognize it's probably not good to be having coffee throughout the day. And I don't. Generally, like after 3, it's like, I'm like, okay, it's a bit stupid. Unless I feel like I need a kick. But I sleep fine if I have a coffee at 8 p.m. I'm good.
Wow, you heard it here first.
Well, I think I sleep fine. I'm sure if I had a whoop or something, it'd tell me different.
I love it.
Are you just a morning coffeeer?
Just one coffee a day. And I recently went to my Chinese medicine practitioner. I have a long black, and he was telling me I need to put milk and sugar in it because being a runner, I'm burning so much energy. He's like, you need more sugar, more carbs, more protein. I was like, all right, brother.
Because a splash of milk in your coffee is going to make a difference instead of just a good meal.
Exactly.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I have said for ages I'd like to get down to fewer coffees a day. But the thing is, I said this to Lou the other day, this might be quite tragic. I genuinely feel a notch happier at the idea of having a coffee.
Absolutely.
Someone says to me, do you want a coffee? I'm like, dude, I was just stressed about something for a second there, and you just suggested a coffee, and now I'm like, yeah. Or like I'll come up with the idea of making a coffee, and the whole process of it, I'm just like, oh, yes.
I completely agree. When I'm in like heavier coffee phases, I get excited about enough time has passed since the last one that I can then go and make another one in the afternoon, and it's like, it's great.
Big.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
going to bed and then being like, I'm gone. The first thing I have on my calendar tomorrow is a coffee. Like, so good.
Yeah, I think that as well. What's happening tomorrow? Well, I don't really care. Before any of that, coffee's happening. So we went to a coffee making workshop the other day here in Vietnam. So learnt about all 6 different types of coffee. It was a lot of fun. And so I've learnt, it's actually funny, we had the coffee making device thing. We've had it for a couple of years, and I've just not known how to use it. And so now I actually know how to use this thing.
Amazing.
So I'll make some
upskilled
coffee when I'm camping or something. Yeah. Before we dive in to today's episode properly, we do stop talking about coffee, I promise. I just want to say a genuine thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. It really does mean a lot to me. A lot of work goes into getting an episode out every week, and it just means a lot that you tune in and you listen, and that you engage, and that you like, rate, subscribe, and do all of the internet things to help the podcast out, and that you share it with your friends. But have you ever actually stopped to think about what That's Runnable actually stands for? Have you ever heard the mission statement? Well, That's Runnable exists to educate, inspire, and equip people to form a long-term relationship with their running. It's that simple. Everything I do, everything That's Runnable does, this podcast, the newsletter, the posts on the Instagram page, it all points back to that mission, to help you train with purpose, to think a little deeper about why you run, and to actually enjoy the process. But while the free content can help shift your mindset, the real change happens when you actually start doing the work. And that's where That's Runnable coaching comes in. It's for runners who want structure, not just when there's a race coming up, but all the time. Because running well shouldn't be a 12-week plan you follow before an event. It should be how you live, how you move, how you build a durable body for the long run. You choose a level based on how much time you have to train each week, and you'll get a complete program that combines running and strength, plus a huge library of resources, videos, and practical education to teach you how to do this properly. It's designed to empower you. So over time, you don't just follow a plan, you actually understand your training. You become the kind of runner who can take control, make adjustments, and sustain your progress for life. And of course, crucially, you'll be working with me, so we'll have a private chat. So anytime you have questions along the journey, you can just throw them at me and we can have a back and forth so I can guide you. All of that is for £79.98 a month. So if you're ready to stop guessing, stop winging it, and actually learn how to train sustainably, become a durable runner, and instill a practice that lasts a lifetime, pick up your phone, go down to the show notes, and you can join the next intake. There's a new intake on the first Monday of every month, and so you can claim your spot now and make sure you're part of it on the first Monday of next month. Thanks as always for all your support. I hope you enjoy the podcast. I hope you gain a lot from it. And if you're interested, I hope to see you in the coaching.
I'm good. As I said to you before this call, feel like I'm exhausted every second day at the moment, but exhausted from doing a lot of good things. It's like I'm exhausted from training and doing like 4 or 5 different projects at the moment. So it's a sweet thing to be tired for. But yeah, just like trying to hold a lot together. Been training, starting a brand, managing usual output, and then I got an exhibition at the moment, so a few different things to like wrap my head around.
What a privilege it is to be tired doing the things you love. Didn't we talk about this?
I think we have. It's a reoccurring theme.
I think we closed off an episode with it. I think it was that good.
I think we did. Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying before that we both feel very similar in that sense. Loads on. I've just come here to Vietnam, been in now for almost 4 weeks. Settling in, there's a lot of stress that comes with settling in, but also just like trying to run a business, trying to get all the content out, in project delegation mode, trying to bring on more people. It's all good stuff, but I'd be lying if I said I was completely chilled about it all.
Question for you. If you could have any resource or any help, what would you need most right now? Other than
Great
$1 million.
question. I'm not going to say time because I'd probably waste it at the end of the day. What do I need? I think, well, what I'm doing is I'm going through, I've brought someone on to sort of help consult on a whole kind of operational revamp or transformation, essentially. And so everything I've been doing, from creating and editing content for the coaching hub, programming on the hub, marketing for the hub, all the marketing emails, how to actually strategically sort of build out the hub so it's the best it can be, all of the content strategy for the podcast itself, for all of my social media content, writing of newsletters, all of that stuff I've just been doing, all of the editing of the content, even the uploading of the podcast, everything has been me. So nothing has touched any other hands. I've got systems for That's Runnable's Instagram page. So Stefan is on board. He's helping with that, and he's come on to get like a system going for that. So that's great. But honestly, like talking through every step, including like how I think about my stories, how I think about my posts, whether I have a strategy for my posts, who edits them, me obviously, but like how do I edit them, when do I post them, the whole system behind it all that's in my head, everything that's in my head, we're getting onto Notion. So
huge. Wow.
By getting all of that onto Notion, you're getting what has built over the last like 4 years into this whole content beast that has become way too much for me. we're now bringing more people on to help with posting, editing, and just freeing up some time for me to focus more on just the creation side of things. So I can, in an ideal world, just sit here and talk to you and then post it to someone else to sort out, or I can make videos on the fly or have a bit more structure and strategy towards like social media content, and then also can just dedicate way more time to my coaching, which is ultimately what, I don't make any secrets about it. This is what this is all for. I want to provide valuable, good information, build a community, but it all funnels in to the coaching, which puts bread on the table. There's no secret there for any creator out there. It all ultimately is there for the business that I'm building. So yeah, I think the most important thing that is happening already is just freeing up time by delegating a lot of the process that currently I don't need to be doing, but someone else could do and probably could do better. It's a big project.
Huge project, but worthwhile.
Yeah.
And the only way
can I throw the same question back? Can I throw the same question back at you?
Yeah, really good. Really good. I, at the moment, would like someone to be doing my shipping and handling for books and for, I guess, currently art. And then what I talk about with my partner is almost having, say, like a PR manager or some kind of manager where they could, whatever I'm paying them or whatever cut they're taking, but they're the ones that are reaching out, trying to find me collaborations or trying to find me deals and being like, can you win this work? Like, I want to be playing in these spaces. Can you source that? And then I think, like, listening to you as well, I would probably really benefit from an editor, because I could, again, sit here all day, record videos. And the reason I'm not posting a video podcast or recording as many poems at the moment, like video poems, is because I don't want to do the editing. And that's why the notes they're my minimum viable product that I can ship out daily, twice a day with very little time. So editor, PR, and shipping and handling.
And these things, like, none of these things in and of themselves take a huge amount of time. It's just how they accumulate all together. Yeah. And actually, like, for your editing, for example, like, some of your editing is great, but a lot of social media content is just simple editing, but it takes a bit of time, and it's just like, can't be bothered. Doesn't really move the needle for me.
No.
And then sometimes the worry is that you bring someone on and they're going to like overproduce stuff, and you're like, no, it's going to take you 10 minutes, but I just don't want to spend that 10 minutes doing it, which sounds ridiculous, but it's like, honestly, something that was going to be 10 minutes ended up being like 20 minutes for me. And then I'm checking, it's like half an hour gone. And, shifting from one thing to another takes time. It's like, I'm the same. All these small things, they all add up, man. And, that's why I gave you an answer, which was like, what I'm currently doing is going through all of it, basically, like every single little piece, because expediting every small process is actually the one thing that needs to happen, because it's all small, but together it's massive.
Absolutely. Project outsource.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can check back in on this one day and we'll be outsourced kings.
Everything will just be happening for us.
Yeah.
But there's also something interesting in this. Like, I've got a friend who's very systems driven, and he is, I can sort of hear my voice, by the way, in the background. How loud am I?
Sorry. How about that? Is that better?
Sorry, folks. Yeah, I think that's better.
Great. I just have absolutely pumping in my earphones. Okay, and sweet. Leaning right on the mic.
No, yeah, you're all good. It's just like I can sort of hear that slight echo. There we go, folks. For anyone who was slightly frustrated by that, I got you.
With that.
What was I going to say?
You have a friend that is very systems driven.
Yeah. I think this is quite interesting. I have a friend who's very systems driven, and he's all about delegate this, delegate that, so you can free up all your time. And I'm like, that's great. I think that's awesome. And to automate a whole thing so that you don't do anything, brilliant. But is there not value in doing things yourself? Is there not like some intrinsic value in seeing something from the start all the way to the end, and then offering it out to the world and saying, I did all of that,
all of this?
Like there's a part of me that sort of feels a bit precious about letting go of every element of this podcast, because it's been my little creative thing, it's been mine, and I've loved that. I've been proud of that, and it's a difficult thing to let go. Like, am I letting go of it just because I want more time? What am I going to do with that time? I don't know.
I guess the hope is that you spend that time wisely, but
yeah,
we'll see.
But I think there's value. What I'm trying to say is I think there's still value in doing things yourself.
Completely. And
in a world where AI and tech is taking over everything, surely there's some space for, taking pride in the work and doing things slowly.
Wholeheartedly agree with that, which I think we've probably spoken about before. Just the slow process of building things is, there has to be an energy from that comes through.
Amen.
But then it puts onus on the people receiving it and the state of being that they're in, and whether they can pick up on that energy. Everyone's getting faster, so hopefully listening to That's Notable slows you down ever so slightly.
And hopefully you enjoy the imperfections. Should we do show and tell?
Yes, we should.
Give me a sec.
Start?
Give me a sec, because I forgot mine again. But I knew what it was going to be, but I'm going to go get it.
Great. Well, I'm just going to keep the conversation rolling, because I know in radio it's really not good to have dead air or dead space. So, he was quick. There was no dead air.
Doesn't it cost money?
Costs money to have dead air. And we might lose people. They might drop off if we left them alone for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some silence is quite a nice thing.
What do you sound
like?
All right,
I've got silence.
Mine. All right, take it away.
I've got mine. No, you go first. I was just
okay, great.
Yeah, you go first.
Well, my show and tell is something that really has captured a lot of my attention today. And gonna call this little show and tell segment the Strava files, which is basically been brought up from a running creator, influencer, writer, Zach Pogrub, and he created a running app called ShareAura. And this will lead into something a lot bigger. Why I really like what Zach created is because he's playing in this intersection of being a writer, being a creative, and blending it with running, something that he's passionate about. His frustration was that there was no aesthetic or beautiful way to share your runs. So nice. I don't know if you've ever used the app VSCO.
No.
For photo editing. Basically, there's always been apps for making your photos look better. He was like, I don't like the way that people share Strava runs. There's only one way to do it aesthetically. It's not inspiring. So he's made an app where it syncs your runs, and then there's a lot of different templates. You can change the color of them, lots of different fonts. You can put videos, all kinds of things to share your run and to make it a lot more kind of appealing. Anyway, he baited that earlier in the year, maybe February. And he had GPS or you could share the map. 2 months later, Strava integrated that into their sharing of runs. Right. Anyway, in the first 4 days of launching his app, he had 10,000 people sign up, and they were integrated with Strava. And Strava said, we're not going to allow you to have any more of our users unless they're sharing their runs with a little Strava watermark. So Zach was like, okay, I'll take those 10,000, and Strava's we're not working with you anymore. What's interesting now is that Strava and Garmin are going head to head and blowing up at each other. And this year, Garmin have said to Strava, we want all our synced data on Strava to be watermarked with a little Garmin logo. And
way.
Strava have said, no, that's not happening. But then they've gone and done that exact thing to Zach. Where it gets more interesting is that Garmin have said to Strava, you've got till November 1st to make a change, or we're pulling. You no longer have our API. You no longer have our data. We're not going to sync. Strava has then gone and sued Garmin for, what's it called? Strava responds by suing Garmin on September 30 for patent infringement on heat maps and segments. But Strava so heavily relies on Garmin's data, and also, there's so many layers to it. So this is why it's my show and tell. I'd encourage people to jump onto X or Twitter, look up Zach or Hunter Weiss, who have broken it down. But Strava are about to list as an IPO and go public, and they're suing Garmin, and Garmin may be pulling out, which is like huge. It's like 60 to 80% of their users
it's humongous.
are from watches. So
Humongous, yeah.
I'm really curious, like, what's going to happen to Strava, particularly if Garmin has no integration to it, what that does to their value. Is the only fix for Strava to create their own wearable? Would that be something that you would wear? So I have so many questions, but it's really exciting for Zach, because one future for Zach is that Garmin may acquire ShareAura. Those two fuse. Garmin have the data. Zach has the aesthetic, beautiful, creative side. And yeah, that's my show and tell. Something I've just found really interesting today.
Super interesting, man. Super interesting, because Strava struggled for many, many years. They struggled to figure out how to monetize, how to make money. Like, it was, if you listen to interviews with the founder of Strava, you'll realize that, Strava isn't just like some business that's always been wildly successful. Far from it. It's been a very difficult business to be successful. I think, like, in terms of the money they're making, and like, I don't even know if they've made a profit. I'm sure they are making profit now, but for many years it was all just chasing like sheer user numbers. And I mean, that's the case for a lot of tech businesses. It's like, they try and get investment, and they base their investment on like number of users. Or they put their like pitch deck forward to investors and say, this is how many users we've got, this is how many active users we've got. That's how it works quite a lot of the time. And they're not looking at profit for ages. Anyway, they've brought on obviously this premium model, this pay for model. And a lot of people are sort of questioning, myself included, questioning the real value of Strava. For me, I get all of the data I need on Coros. I happen to use Coros and not.
Yeah, it's all Garmin. On our native, like whatever wearable, all the data's there.
Exactly. Strava is not the thing that's collecting the data. It's pulling the data. The data's coming obviously from your wearable, and is going and being published to Strava, and Strava's using that and presenting it in its own way. And how it presents it, in my opinion, is pretty damn good. I think, like, I like how Coros presents it, but I go on my Coros app and I'm like, oh man, I prefer the way Strava presented this, and like when I paid for it and when I really used it, and it doesn't do the same. So, it's good to have both. But really the differentiator for Strava is that it is the go-to social media platform for this stuff, right? Isn't it? It's the way that we share our runs with each other and give each other kudos and track each other's progress and all that sort of stuff. Garmin can't do that alone because not everyone's using a Garmin. Coros can't do that alone because not everyone's using a Coros.
And this is
why
it's interesting.
To be aggregated.
And this is what's interesting, because if Garmin pulls out of Strava and you lose all your Garmin users from Strava, it's like, I would disappear, and then, for instance, you wouldn't ever see my stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Then is it a case of like, say Garmin partners with Zach, is it like having an iPhone and buying an iPhone because you know that you can iMessage your friends? It's like, will people be buying watches because they're like, we can...
Actually, it's better. Yeah.
It's better. Like, I'm actually going to go and buy a Coros because I know Tommy wears a Coros, and that way I can go and give him like support on his runs. And we're in our own little like bubble, just as iMessage is a little bubble.
I can absolutely see it going that way. I mean, I think the strategy for... I mean, if you go into the native apps, there is a feature to follow your friends and stuff. It's just that they're not really leaning in on it as much. They're not leaning in on it as much as like Strava is.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a feed and people aren't going into that app already for that purpose. But I think Garmin is best positioned to do that because it's the most popular.
And it would be
I think it probably has the biggest market share of watches.
It'd be a very easy, I'd say that unknowingly, but a very easy switch for them, because rather than my opening screen being my like heart rate and my workout, it's just a public feed of all my Garmin friends. That's all it requires.
Yeah.
So
just to basically make that, like, bring that into the sort of public consciousness.
Yeah.
That it's a social thing, is as soon as you go into your Garmin app to check your data, you see other people's stuff there, and you're like,
100%.
Yeah, all my friends are doing. To be honest with you, I'll be frank, I'd probably move to Garmin if it was more of a kind of shareable thing.
Well,
if it became,
are you familiar with Zach's app, ShareAura?
No, I'm not. No.
After this, gone like familiarize yourself and like look at the way that you can sync and how beautiful it, because he's just made a beautiful way to share your runs. You can put like little quotes, like you could put Haruki Murakami and be like this, or it might be like a little iPhone message, like blue bubble, but instead of a text, it's like 14.7 kilometers, comma, 4:23 pace, comma, the date. And you're just like, that's a sweet way to share my run.
Right. So, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, well, it's interesting because I have recently turned my Strava activities to only me, or only for you or whatever, private.
Yeah.
And I did that because I now have a ludicrous number of people following me on Strava, which is really cool, and it's an amazing thing. But I guess, I started running because it was my thing. If I'm talking really frankly, I miss running. I miss my running. Like when I started running, it was my thing. My running.
A lot of weight
I miss my running. Yeah. Because like when I started running, I didn't track it. I don't want to just be one of these guys who's like, I'm nostalgic for the times before it was better in my day kind of thing. But when I'd go out with my Casio and I'd just time it, and then I'd map my run manually. I'd literally map out the route, and then I'd calculate the average pace based on that. It was so inaccurate. It was all by feel. It was all for me. I didn't know what I was doing, but there was some beauty in it and I didn't go out with headphones because I found the headphones annoying. This was pre-AirPods. And so it was way more pure. And there was no sharing. No one knew my pace. No one knew how far I was going each week. No one knew anything. And I liked that. And then, I started sharing it, and it was all great. And, some people might say, you're not thick-skinned enough. Like, I like sharing it. I like seeing other people's stuff. It's encouraging for me. It's encouraging for everyone else. That's great. I also like that. But we're not talking about that. I'm talking about my precious running that was my thing before
also,
it was...
I know that you and I have both chosen to go this path, but also the people making those comments don't have so many thousand people viewing
That's
their
also
runs.
True. I do think it matters that I have a lot of people that I don't know. There's a difference between... Because also I've received some comments where people are sort of making comments about my training, and I can be lighthearted about it, but as someone who's a coach and putting all my stuff on social media, I feel very watched. I feel like you have to justify everything, even when people are, are nice and they don't mean anything negative. They're just being nice. Like if I put a 10-minute treadmill run up, you'll get a comment that's just like, "Oh, it happens to the worst of us." You're like, "What are you talking about? This is just a treadmill warm up in the gym. I need to track it because I want it on my Coros." Like, but then even just that, it's like, I just can't be bothered to have it up there. Anyway, it's me ranting again, but I think it's been really interesting for me. The transformation in my attitude when going out for a run has been so noticeable. I just enjoyed my running a bit more because it's just mine, and I've revisited this kind of like, even though I never went on Strava, I've just revisited this whole kind of not caring. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like not caring at all what's out there. No one's going to see it. Not caring about stopping and taking a picture. Just revisiting what I preach. I'm always preaching about this.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about Strava in general anyway, because it's like, do we need to be tracking all of our fitness publicly? I don't know.
Yeah. Today I was like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is my time. Strava could be done.
Yeah, and then it is interesting to watch all these power plays from these brands. We want a watermark to promote us on yours. We want a watermark to promote us on yours. And it's all this sort of highlight of you need us to survive. And who's got the, who's got the most leverage? Is it Garmin? Is it Strava?
I think it's Garmin. It's like Garmin doesn't need Strava, but Strava needs Garmin for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Just trying to find this. I really want to just find this tweet in more detail because it's just so. August 22nd, Strava emailed Zach Pogrub to add a Strava watermark to all shares from ShareAura 10 days after they launch, or they would cap new users permanently. Zach says no and removes Strava as an integration to ShareAura after 10,000 Strava connects in 4 days. On July 1st, Garmin asked Strava to put their watermark on Strava data/shares or lose API access on November 1st, which isn't resolved. Strava responds by suing Garmin on September 30 for patent infringements on heat maps and segments as a retaliation against Garmin API watermark demands. Here is the massive Strava hypocrisy involving the ShareAura app. Zach Pogrub, a new personal running app built around aesthetic/easier sharing. On October 2nd, Strava's chief of product posted on Reddit, "We consider Garmin's watermark blatant advertising. Meanwhile, they are forcing their advertising onto third-party apps like ShareAura blatantly." And then the CPO of Strava goes, "We consider Garmin's run data in Strava to be your data. Meanwhile, Strava tightly guards user data and restricts third-party access to its API, even when that data originates from wearables and is merely synced to Strava." And then 85% of ShareAura users were syncing from Strava through a Garmin watch or other wearable. The data was never tracked on Strava, only uploaded to Strava via third-party APIs. If Strava's valuation depends on repackaging Garmin data through its own API and taking credit by requiring Strava branding, despite Garmin being the original source, that directly contradicts Strava's own statement on Reddit. And how can Strava's CPO claim that user data belongs to the customer while simultaneously blocking those same customers from using the ShareAura app with Strava's API? And it keeps going and going. But,
yeah, I don't know. It's very hypocritical, but it's also, for me, it just communicates how much Strava. It's impressive what Strava has become, but also could be just lucky because any of these shareable sites could have become what Strava is. But it's just so clear that Strava, it doesn't have the stronghold. It hasn't cornered the market as much as we might think. Things can change like immediately. We think something that's been around for so long, everyone uses it, and it's the done thing. We think it's going to be there forever. It's not. Like, it's not necessarily. And in 5 years, it may be that no one's talking about posting on Strava anymore. And all of the running jokes about, like, if it's not on Strava, it doesn't exist, kind of, all of that will shift and change, and it won't exist, and it will be a thing of the past.
You just gave me a great idea. I've had some of my best notes have been Strava related. I could come up with something today.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Well, that's a fun one, man. That's we're gonna keep track of that.
Until Garmin stock price is the highest it's been, all-time high. Yeah.
Wow. Fair enough.
So there you go.
Maybe I'm gonna get a Garmin. I don't know. I'm happy with this. It's fine. Does the job, doesn't it?
You're up.
Mine's not running related.
So good.
But so I'm now on the move quite a lot, and one of the most important things you can do to stay sane in a world governed by technology and AI is to read books. So, how do you read books when you're traveling, when you're trying to pack light and all this sort of stuff? Well, it's something that I haven't used for so long and I've dismissed, but I've had for a good, like, maybe 15, 16 years, and it's my Kindle.
Wow.
Look how beat up it is.
Wow.
And I brought it back out again, bro. And I cannot express, I think it's one of the greatest inventions ever, the Kindle. I think it's so good, bro. It's like, I just forgot how good it was. I just forgot how good it was to be able to, when I'm struggling to sleep or something, just to flip open my Kindle, not disturb Lou, and just like have a very subtle backlight and to read a few pages and nod off. And to just, it's so much more convenient to just flip out and get through a few more pages of a book. And to buy a book, I don't need to get it delivered. I don't need to find it in a bookstore. I don't need to worry about it taking up space in my bag. I can just buy it on the Kindle, and then it's there. So and it's good. Just, I'm just very happy I've got it, and I've like refreshed the like account on it and stuff, and I've got some old books on there I've reread already, and just raving about it. Very happy I've got the Kindle again. I'm just very, very happy. And it's just one of those things. It's small
trend occurring here on that's notable. That's
the reading trend.
2 episodes in a row with Tommy's come in with a book or book related. So I like this as a man who wants the world to slow down. Both of his last show and tells have been book related and slow activities. So he's out there doing it. Nice work.
I got a book at the moment, which I'm reading because people will probably be wondering. I've got a couple books on the go, but this one is The Courage to be Disliked, which is very interestingly written because...
Wait, is that Brené Brown?
No. 2 authors, I can not remember their names, Ishiro Kishimi
and Fumitake
Koga. But it's written in a really interesting way. It's like it's a conversation between a philosopher and a youth.
Wow.
And going into like Adler's psychology. It's really interesting. And it's just starting to really get into the... At first I was like, this isn't about the courage to be disliked. What's this? But I'm about 30% in, and it's just getting into it, which is interesting. But yeah, I think the main point is just that I'm really happy to have the Kindle, and if anyone struggles to read and get books, to be honest with you, get a Kindle. Get a Kindle.
So good. Love it.
All right, we did that. We took a while for that show and tell, but I think that was fun.
I enjoyed that one.
We also have loads of other topics to go through.
Heaps. I don't think considering how we're trending today, don't think we'll get through them. But
I got some time. And I've also planned to do a treadmill run for an hour and 10 minutes after this. So I am not in a rush.
Nice.
Because I don't want to do that.
Plan to get an hour jog done after this and then head to the sauna. So.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
bit of sauna. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling going for a run out in the sun today. I think I'm just going to lock in on a treadmill.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
We'll see.
All
right, I'm going to go through these questions that you sent me. Yeah. These were good.
Some were my curiosities about your world. Some were also curiosities about your world, but things I'm going through at the moment.
Sure.
And then, yeah.
Okay.
What caught your attention?
The first question caught my attention because it's been on my mind.
Great. Okay, Tommy. What things/actions help best facilitate running when moving to a new city?
I don't know if I have the answers, but I definitely know I can relate to the problems and the struggles. I've just obviously moved to a completely new culture, completely new city, new environment, completely unknown. And one of my biggest struggles has been finding time and space and locations to run. My training is quite important to me, very important to me. It's like one of my priorities in life, but also traveling and seeing the world is also important. But marrying the two is really difficult because what's easy is really knowing where you're going to go for a run. When you're familiar with the environment, just smashing out a quick 45-minute run in your local area, there's no problem with that. You're familiar with it. You don't have to plan it. Easy. Whereas doing that in a place you're unfamiliar with definitely poses some challenges. And so for anyone who is traveling, travels for work, someone messaged me this week. Actually, it was super interesting. Someone messaged me this week. Two people messaged me. Someone messaged me this week saying, I really struggle because I travel for work. And then someone else a few days later, I was in a back and forth with, said, I'm lucky because I travel with work, so I get to run in new places. And I was like, that's so interesting, dude, that you said that because, it really depends on the lens that you see it through. But both are true. Both are very true. It's both a struggle and a blessing to be in a new environment because it's hard to kind of know where you're going. It takes more preparation, it takes more planning. Talking of Strava, it's helpful to go on Strava and see where other people have been on the route map. I think as a man, it's probably less of an issue for me to I don't feel as fearful going out. I certainly don't in Vietnam. Vietnam is sort of known to be a pretty safe place. No one's really too bothered with what you're doing. But yeah, different for me than for women. If you're in a new environment, for women, it's definitely something that needs to be, there's more consideration required. I don't necessarily have the answers. I just have a recognition that it's hard. And for me, it stood out because I was like, this is something I've been struggling with, man. I want to travel, I want to move around, I want to explore, I want to be spontaneous, but I also want routine because that's helpful for me in my mental health and my goals. I
think that almost actually helps construct part of your answer in terms of if you do move to a new city, different to the traveler that's going in and out for work, because I think Strava does actually answer that question, or something like All Trails, but just building a routine when you land to be like, this is where I long run, this is where I session, this is where I tempo or easy jog. And I think having a routine in a new city, you're already going through so many decisions and transitions that you're just like, I just know where I'm going to go. If you can do that, that helps. Yeah, I'd say that if you're moving to a new city and you're going to be there for a while,
My advice would be to take it easy initially. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself for like the first few weeks. Use the first few weeks to just get to know places, get to know what you're going to do. Instead of feeling flustered about, I've got a long run this week, I don't know where I'm going. Just like ease back a bit. Definitely. It doesn't matter that much for the first few weeks. Yeah. It doesn't matter too much like what you're doing and what you're getting in. Just get to know the place first. Get to feel a bit more comfortable. And I can tell you from first-hand experience that it only takes a week or two to feel more comfortable in an area. I've been in 2 different places now the first 4 weeks. I'm already comfortable here. I was comfortable in the middle of Hanoi in terms of like where I was going. It doesn't take too long after some runs, after like, you know, you find something that works for you, do that again. But I would say take the pressure off yourself initially. The risk is like if you're moving around a lot, then it is gonna be hard to stick to a schedule if you're moving around a lot.
Definitely. Nice. Anything else on that one?
No, I don't think so.
Sweet. What do you want to tackle next?
I don't know. You choose one.
I'm quite curious about how to balance trail running goals when you're surrounded by road.
If you're a runner who's ready to stop winging it, ready to stop second guessing your gym sessions and finally feel strong, confident and clear about why you're training the way you are, this is for you. At the end of last year, I quit my corporate job and was finally able to go full-time to build a coaching offering that I really believed in. And today, as I sit here, we have been live with that coaching offering for a few months. And the current iteration of that offering is what I've landed on as the best offering I can possibly provide. The idea of this coaching offering is that within just a few months of working together, you'll learn how to actually structure your own weeks of training, not just follow workouts blindly. You'll know why you're doing what you're doing. You'll build real strength through a structured program. You'll become a more durable runner and connect back to the real reasons you started running in the first place. There are many running coaches out there. There are also many personal trainers out there. But there are very few offerings that merge the two, that consider both as important as each other, that really focus on strength training as a core component to your running. And I know the usual story. Most runners either skip strength training altogether or do it half-heartedly because, well, no one ever really showed them how to do it properly. You might feel like you're guessing in the gym. Maybe you feel underconfident, unsure if it's helping or even worth the time. And as a result, you're stuck in a cycle of niggles, burnout, and training that feels more fragile than free. And so that's where my coaching offering comes in. In this coaching offering, I've taken what I know as a personal trainer and merged it with my running coaching offering. I've coached everyone from complete beginners to ultra runners taking on a 100-mile mountain race or their next new challenge. And what I've seen time and time again is that the missing piece isn't always just more miles. It's better balance. It's knowing how to build a strong foundation that actually supports your running. It's knowing how to listen to your body, not just blindly push it. My approach is holistic. Strength is not optional, it's central. But so is your mindset. So is your ability to reset from the noise, reframe what discomfort means, and reconnect with your body and your environment. This isn't about being perfect. It's about becoming more you through the process. You'll get strength workouts with full video demos and instructions from me, running sessions to place throughout your week, how-to videos on structuring your week and approaching your training with purpose, direct access to me for questions, form feedback, personal support, whatever help you need, and a growing library of resources inside the hub, in the app, so you can learn, adapt, and stay curious. And you'll also be part of a community who care less about splits and more about showing up with intention, a space to grow, stay grounded, and be reminded of why you run in the first place. If you're ready to train with more awareness, to build a stronger body and a deeper connection to the process, and to approach your running in a way that actually lasts, then come and join us. There's a link in the description below you can check out to find out more. I'd love to have you on board. Thank you so much for supporting what I do here on the podcast and the rest of my content. And I just hope that if this is of interest to you, that it's reached you. So if you're a runner who wants to become more capable as a runner, you want to become more durable, stronger, more confident in the gym, then let's build something stronger together. Run the runnable, keep showing up for yourself, and I hope to see you in there.
I'm quite curious about how to balance trail running goals when you're surrounded by road. Because, and this is a very selfish question, because a race as such, or a race that I'm want to actually like have a ripping crack at, is Kosciuszko 100 at the end of November. I'm also doing New York Marathon, but all my running at the moment is on the road. And it's like, in the last month, I could have driven like 1 to 2 hours, but I'm like, whilst I've been painting and had all these projects on, I'm like, I just want to leave from my front door, get my training done, and that's it. And because of that, like, I have gravel and dirt and nature around me, but it's not like big climbs, proper trail running like I need to be racing.
Okay, so firstly, I'll say that episode 10 of That's Runnable was a great episode with another Josh, a different Josh, which is a bit of a cross post with Josh from Borderlands. So if you're interested in this topic and you want to dive a bit deeper into kind of can trail runners thrive in the city, have a listen to that episode. But very practically, with you, Josh, you're already a trail runner. So for me, I'm like, okay, big problem gone there, because you're already a trail runner. You don't have to necessarily get used to the technicality of trails. You're not unfamiliar with it. It's already in you. You're capable of running over trails. So really what we're focused on is not whether you're capable of running over trails, although it's always worth practicing that. To get good on trails, you have to run on trails, you have to train on trails. But for you, it's more like the fitness required for that environment, the fitness required for like big mountains, for running over trails. Like, how do I keep that agility up?
It's the climbing. It's
climbing.
Like, yeah, I just feel like I lose climbing capacity and tolerance and durability very quickly.
So, I mean, I've been training for ultras in the city for 4 years now, and you can achieve a lot in the gym, as much as it's not ideal. And you can do a lot outside the gym. You find a hill, you do repeats of that hill. Of course, you can achieve a lot outside, but the gym is really the place where you're going to get a very consistent uphill. You can do all sorts on the treadmill. You can get on a stair-stepper, and you can build a lot of strength on the climbing side of things in the gym. So it might be that you want to go on a stair-stepper and just smash that out and become, I used to call the stair-stepper my favorite enemy, because I hate it, but it's so good because you can just get on there and climb.
I've known this, and now I just need to go and do it.
And then the treadmill is great as well. So the treadmill is something where you can get a very steady incline. So you don't have to whack it up to like a full-blown sort of 100% incline and then just smash it up there. Put it on a bit of an incline, something that you would like. Let's say, you know, if you were running a trail marathon and it's the first hill on a trail marathon, you're going to run it because it's the first hill on a trail marathon. It's sort of slightly uphill, like a 10% gradient or something. Put it on that and you can do repeats on that. So like 4 or 5 minutes or even 10-minute uphills where you've broken it into a run, but it's relatively easy, and you're doing that for 10 minutes. And then you're slowing it right down and you're hiking to recover for 2. And then you're doing another sort of 10 minutes of a steady incline. You can get so much done on a treadmill. And, you know, a lot of people screw their nose up at treadmills and stuff. But, I mean, if you study the pros, when they can't train in the mountains, they're training on treadmills. Kilian Jornet, he's training on a treadmill. So much of the year because it's like impossible to run outside, or he's doing like, that's if he's really training for ultras, or he's doing obviously like other sports, but there's a lot of treadmill stuff happening for those who are looking to really get fit and get optimized for the mountains. So you can play around with that and have a bit more fun if you're focused on performance.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, like actually the downhills is something that you really want to get strong for as well. You're going to wreck your quads going down these big mountains. And so you just want to have very strong quads, and you can do that by strength training in the gym. It's not obviously a complete replacement for actually just running down hills, but getting strong quads in the gym and doing leg extensions is going to be like a massive part of, and you know, doing whatever you can in the gym is going to be a massive part of strengthening the quads and the core as well for the downhills.
For sure. Epic.
But the gym, you can achieve a lot.
I kind of stacked two questions, or backed another strength related question in there. Was, what if you're struggling to fit in gym on session days? And so again, programming error by me, but Tuesday I do my sessions. I did my session at 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Quickly squeezed in dinner, went on to a 7 p.m. meeting, worked through till 9, was absolutely toasted, and just was like, well, because I want to do gym on my hard days, on my session days, make my hard days hard.
Right.
Should I then just be like, all right, I'm going to do gym on Wednesday and Thursday instead, and maybe do it a little bit lighter? Like, what are your thoughts around just like, doesn't matter what day you do gym? Or should
Yeah, it's a great question. I do like the idea of doing your strength sessions on quality days, because and making sure you're doing your strength after a quality session as well. So if you're doing I wouldn't do like a big heavy strength session in the morning and then going and trying to do intervals in the afternoon. I'd do it the other way around. There is a reality that this stuff, I just want to say, there's a reality that this stuff is hard. And I think quite often we, you know, I'll get questions like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And it's like, you know, you recognize like my answer isn't going to be, this is how you make it easy. My answer is just like, I don't know, maybe you need to be really disciplined with making sure you're getting up super early to do your quality sessions. Or it might be that, you know, you have to get up really early the next day to do your gym session. Who knows, but I can't schedule things for you, but some of it comes down to discipline. But in terms of practical, like my practical advice is that either do your quality session really close to your strength session, like on the same day, or spread them quite a lot, and have it as far away, have your strength as far away from your quality session as you can. Sometimes I'll do a long run and a gym session on the same day. The reason I do that is because like a long run is on a day where I've got hours, and so like, what's the difference between 3-hour long run and a 3.5 hour long run with a small strength session? Not heaps, especially on a day where, if like, you know, it's a Sunday or whatever. It's difficult. You have to double up. I think if you're like if you've got high volume and your strength training, you have to double up. Some of my quality sessions will be on a treadmill. So I'll do some hill training on a treadmill, and then I'll be in the gym already. And it requires some real grit to crack on with the rest of the session, which is part of it. But I don't know how's
more
it
grit.
Sure, I don't know. I don't want to just say like, I don't want to just say toughen up, but I also do want to emphasize it's not easy, and no one finds it easy. The people who find it easiest are those who have loads of time. But for many of us who don't have loads of time, it just is really hard, and you will fall short sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I was crushing it in Portugal this year. But the thing is, heaps of time.
Yeah, right. I find that, I mean, I've had a rant about this before, but it's really interesting when sometimes you'll see loads of content coming out from a creator who, you know, is all of a sudden so locked in. And the reality behind the scenes is that they're so locked in on this stuff because they've got heaps of time. All of a sudden, the rest of their life is opened up. I was super locked in with my fitness when I quit my job once and I was just qualifying to become a personal trainer. Of course, I was so locked in.
Yeah.
Because I had loads of time. All I was doing was studying my personal training course and running and gymming and thinking about only that. And I had a breakup, so I just had nothing to do other than whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
Of course I was locked in. It's not easy. It's just not easy. That's the thing. And
systems. It all comes back to systems, doesn't it?
Systems, discipline, systems, sticking to it.
Bit of grit.
But it's hard, and that's why I think it's worth celebrating whenever anyone's doing anything. Because we can always feel like we're falling short.
Yeah.
But we're not falling short. Like, you're not falling short by the fact you're asking this question, the fact you're asking, how do I fit in my quality session on a day that I've also got strength training? I mean, dude, you're doing an incredible amount. So, like, no wonder you're struggling because you're doing so much outside of this training. And you're also asking a question that few people would even consider, like, even getting there. Most people aren't even getting to the point in which they're having the same problem as you. Yeah. Your problem is only a problem of a high achiever and someone who is trying incredibly hard to do everything. So, like, the first thing to do is to just like lean back and go, okay, I'm doing a decent job, but how do I optimize this? How do I make this slightly easier for myself? Well, maybe the trick is that on a Wednesday need to get up at 5 a.m. and that's just what happens. And so I need to think about that on a Tuesday evening. I don't know.
Yeah.
But these are high achiever problems, you know?
Yeah. Well, thanks for mentoring me there. Next question.
We had one about
shoes.
Foamy shoes. Yeah, can we talk about that?
I was like, this one I'm coming back to because I was like, I know you've got some prep here. Are we leaning too heavily on shoes that we're depriving our body of tissue tolerance? So this question is inspired by two things. So I went back to South Australia, where I'm from, on the weekend, ran with some like OG running friends, like back in the Casio days, that kind of stuff. Just my guys that have been around for a long time. Absolute shoe geeks, talking about the new Nike, I think it's the Nike Vomero Plus. Anyway, they were like, it's a brilliant shoe, but it does too much work for you. And then one of them was like, yeah, are we depriving our body of tissue tolerance because this shoe is doing so much work for us? And now also what I've been thinking about, there's just so many freaking good shoes around at the moment. Adidas has good shoes. Asics has good shoes. Saucony, Nike, everyone's just got very good shoes. Run over.
You call out your rants way quicker than me. Mine go on forever. So
it's just like, well done, everyone. Well done for making great stuff. Yeah. Good on you.
The question is, are we leaning too heavily on shoes that are depriving our body of tissue tolerance? I've got a nuanced and interesting answer to this.
Take it away.
Yes. That's it. Of course we are. We are absolutely doing that. Right. I'm gonna show you something just to emphasize like how crazy, in my opinion, this is. I'm showing something on my screen here. Is it gonna focus?
Oh,
move it. Oh, fuck
there it is. Yeah. Oh, nearly had it.
Look at that. So we're looking there at like some Adidas shoes, and the upper is like half the size of the foam. And the foam...
That's outrageous.
It's outrageous. I don't know if it's a prototype, but like people like this. They get obsessed with this. You know, they like the sort of really crazy foamy shoes. These are supposedly the Adidas Adizero Evo Prime X. And I've always despised these type of shoes because I care so much about like physical health and, functionality. And I care more about how your body functions than whether you're a fast runner. I think that's really important. And I think we've gone too far with having these like really foamy, compromising shoes to the point where like everyone's got shin splints right now. It feels like everyone's got shin splints. Everyone's got some sort of niggle. Everyone's got weak calves, weak Achilles, weak posterior and anterior tibs. Their knees are collapsing in. Like no one's strong. No one is like really resilient because we just like got these big foamy shoes that make us go fast. Now, I'm not saying there's not a time and a place for carbon plated shoes if you want to throw down a rapid half marathon. Of course, like sick. But if you're always relying on the tool, on the shoes to help you with some problem that your body has, if you're always trying to look for the treatment over the prevention, then you're only going to make these issues worse. And that goes for anyone with like any sort of issue, maybe further down the line, at a point where it's like got too far gone, maybe you'll need some sort of arch support or whatever else, or you need some special insole or something. But wherever possible, please try and strengthen your body before you just rely on foamy, big shoes to like do the work for you. That's my take anyway. Great take. It doesn't have to be barefoot shoes. You don't have to go crazy.
Well, again, it goes back to like the previous question and advice you're giving me. Is just get in the gym and grit it out. And yeah, it's far more appealing to have a high stack shoe than it is to go to the gym when no one's watching. But again, depending on what you're optimizing for, do you want to be running for life or just for a quick burn around the track?
The ultimate question. That is the ultimate question. What are you doing this for? Are you looking to establish a running practice that lasts a lifetime? Or are you just trying to get a fast 5K time or something and then by the time you're 35, sort of sack it all off? I don't know. But like there's these shoes, there are extremes to all of these things, but these extremely foamy, high stack, high offset shoes, they serve one purpose, and that is to potentially make you go faster. I literally spoke to someone at one of these, I'm just going to say it was one of the top 3 brands. So it's either Nike, Adidas or Puma, and I think people will guess who it's from based on what I was doing last Olympics. And they literally said, we don't create shoes. Like they were, it was an unfortunate thing that they were saying, but they cared about this. They were like, I wish we could create shoes. He was actually someone that works at the production center here in Vietnam, funny enough. And he was like, I wish we could create shoes that cared more for the user, but we can't. They don't sell. They don't sell off the shelves. We're competing with, Nike and Adidas, and they're not like, we need to make shoes that are narrow at the toe box, that look fast, that have massive foam, that are really responsive, have massive energy return, that demand nothing of the person, and make it as easy as possible to rock forward and go fast. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we're measuring success on.
But it's just blowing people to pieces.
But everyone's it just causes all these issues. Such a massive problem in the running space is this obsession with like big foamy fast shoes. It grinds my gears, man.
I'm just gonna put that in our WhatsApp chat. Fast foamy shoes. I need to come back to that. Oh, dude.
But like, there's a balance to strike. It's good to have shoes that are good for you, that help you go faster and stuff. But I also just think we need to really care about foot health. We need to care about like being strong and resilient. And these professional runners, they care about that as well. There's a lot of coaches out there that they'll get their athletes. There's a lot of track coaches out there that will get their athletes to do warm-ups in barefoot. A lot of Olympians will warm up barefoot. They'll do all sorts of stuff to strengthen their legs up before they put these compromising shoes on. Because everyone recognizes the shoes are compromising for the body, but they do make you go faster.
Yeah.
So for the every runner, for the 95% of us that aren't on the top, why are we forgetting that? We're all forgetting that these shoes are compromising. We have to recognize that there's a balance to strike here, and you must be strengthening yourself up. Completely.
Alrighty. Might wrap with one or two more questions. If you think I'll ask it. If it's a short question, we'll get through the next one.
Sure.
Do you keep an injury/pain journal? If yes, explain. If no, would you consider?
I thought this was an interesting one. Do you?
No, but this was inspired by a podcast I did with Victoria Seckley, someone who you should get onto your podcast. Her Instagram's Train Smart, Run Strong.
Okay.
And I think you two would absolutely jam out on a chat about strength and running and coaching. But she gets her athletes to keep a pain journal or an injury journal. And I was thinking about it because I've had like lingering knee pain recently. And I'm just like, be good to have it to be like, all right, when did it flare up? How long has it been? When I go see a physio, I can be like, here it is. Here's everything. So, but I'd never heard of that before I did the podcast with her. And I was wondering if it was something that you do.
Yeah, that's great. I don't do that, but I'm not closed to the idea. It's the first time I've heard of that, I think. I think it's like, for me, I'm always trying to sort of remain tuned in, am I tuned in with my body? Which is a really important skill for everyone to kind of learn how to do, to be doing these things. But
I would say that I'm tuned in, but in 2 weeks, 2 weeks down the track, I forget what I was tuned into on that day.
Yeah,
and it becomes a blur in the background.
Valuable. I was going to say it's valuable. That's the second point. I was going to say it's valuable because it's consciously forcing you to think like in a more organized way about this more sort of loose way of doing it. My sort of loose way of doing it is like I do a mobility session in the morning, like, a bit of pain there or whatever. But then writing a journal might make it a bit more conscious and a bit more structured, but it also will help me to refer back to 2 weeks ago and be like, I was actually having an issue. I've completely forgotten about it because I so often forget about issues. Sometimes Lou will say to me, didn't you have an issue there? Because I'll complain to her about it.
Yeah.
Didn't you have an issue there a couple of weeks ago? I'm like, no, I didn't. It's like, yeah, you did. And I'm like, what?
Well, yeah, even that on the, like, I guess positive side, it's like at the moment my knees are angry. But 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, every run was leaving the house and my back was really tight. And then I have not thought about that for 2 weeks.
Yeah, wow, that's so funny. As soon as it's no longer a problem, you forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked her, I think it'd be actually a cool experiment for us to do. And yeah, I asked her, if you're journaling, focusing on a negative as such, or on pain, do you bring more awareness to it? And she's like, no, because she's like, usually if it's coming up to journal, it's like you're already well aware of it. So you're not you're not deeply searching to be like, is there pain anywhere in my body? It's like you already know about it.
Yeah. I like it. Well, bro, I have a final question for you.
Okay.
It's been a bit one-sided, so I'm going to throw a question out to you. You're not going to be ready for this, bro. I've been pondering self-worth recently. And and how I measure it. So my question to you is, if everything you achieved or owned was stripped away, what would still make you believe you're worthy?
If everything you achieved or what?
If everything you achieved or owned was stripped away, what would still make you believe you're worthy?
The first, like my knee-jerk reaction to that is probably my friends. And I would say the quality of my relationships. I think if you stripped away like achievements and things and people, like if you took away people as well, that would be a really tough layer for me to stomach. But I think because I find ultimately like so much calm, enjoyment, inspiration from my people, I'm just like, as long as they're there, it's good. Yeah. Like if everything fell apart but I still have my people, I'd be like, okay, I'm still good. I don't know if that's not so much like worth though.
How do you measure it? How do you measure your worth?
My self-worth, God, that's tricky. Because I'd say general worth, I would be like, am I making other people's lives better? And that's what I always try and do. It's like, can I make someone think differently or leave them better off than when they interacted with me? But my self-worth, I don't know. It's tricky because I've never really battled with it. I'm just like, I have pretty positive dialogue. So I'm just like, maybe that's the metric. It's like, do I speak to myself the way that I would want to speak to others? It's like, do I speak to myself in a positive way or uplifting or supportive way? Almost like, am I showing worth or love to myself? And if I'm showing a good amount of support and love to myself, then I'm probably being like, you are worthy. Like the action of doing that is inevitably being like, you are worthy. Like me telling myself you are worthy. And I also, when I go to yoga, which sometimes is frequently, sometimes it might be once a week, but whenever I do something that feels like really just for me, which for me, like yoga feels like that, I'm just like, almost do like a little prayer at the end and just being like, thank you for showing love to yourself. Thank you for giving space. Thank you for nourishing yourself. Thank you for looking after your body. So that, wow. I still don't know how to measure it though.
Maybe it's immeasurable.
Yeah. How about you? If you want to answer that.
I genuinely don't know, man. Yeah. I think like, because I do fall into the trap of measuring like my self-worth on my accomplishments, because you know they're the things I'm most proud of, and so like I think everyone is worthy of love. I think I was taught that very clearly growing up. I'm fortunate enough to have been taught that growing up, that everyone's worthy of love and deserves love. Or at least, you know, yeah, I mean, that's complicated. Was I taught that? Yeah, I guess it was. I was taught that in action through my parents. Yeah. That despite my actions, there was just like, there was grace there. I think like in terms of like your self-talk, your self-love, self-worth, the one thing I fall back on is like my character and giving myself evidence that I am who I say I am, regardless of the results. So like, actually it's not about the results. It's not about achieving the thing. It's not about like making a certain amount of money. It's not about achieving a goal in your running or whatever. It's about doing the things that are required to get there, regardless of what the result is. You know, if I promise I'm going to get up and show up for myself and I do it, there is self-worth that comes with that. You know, if I, it's about like being, you know, having integrity and holding yourself to a high standard and all that sort of stuff. I think like that gives you self-worth if you follow through and try. I think it's about trying, man. All you can ask yourself to do is try, because it's all that anyone is asking of you is to do your best. No one has the right to ask anything else of you. And so why would you ask anything of yourself more than just trying your best and honestly trying your best?
Yeah. Yeah, I think integrity is a great measure. It's like, are you being true to yourself? And if you are, I think that's showing a lot of, you obviously value yourself high enough to see that through.
Yeah. Self-respect, isn't it? It's like, you respect someone else. I always think about like if you were to agree with someone to meet them at 6 a.m. for a run, and they were like, yeah, agreed, we're going to do that. You turn up to that run because you've made the promise to someone and you have respect for them. You're not going to leave them hanging. However, if you make the promise to yourself to turn up at 6 a.m., you very easily don't do it. And is that because you have less respect for yourself? Maybe.
Possibly, yeah. Definitely. In a very brutal way, yeah, I think so.
I think potentially we're more okay with presenting ourselves to ourselves more honestly, you know, with just being like, sack it off. We know all the truth about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, there we go.
What a bombshell to finish.
Big
up.
finisher.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure again, as always, man.
Absolute pleasure. Love this part of my calendar.
Yeah, it's good. Thanks for listening, for those who have listened. And as always, feel free to share, like, subscribe if you haven't. Rate
and
it.
Send us a message. Like I said last episode, the
Always.
fans of That's Notable always send in great replies and messages. So keep sending them through. I appreciate them.
Follow Josh on
Tommy.
Instagram. Drop him a message. We've got the handle in the show notes. That's it. That's it for this week. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Thanks, brother.
See ya.